Welcome to English 5300. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to using the MLA International Bibliography, which is a critical tool for advanced research for graduate students in literature and in a variety of other disciplines. But for all of us, this is the starting point and most useful thing for getting started for research in our field. And to show you how this works, I'm going to show you how to find the first thing that you actually need to locate on your own for this course under the Henry V Anthology category of materials. So you'll see on the schedule of readings that in week 2 over here on the far right, I say that you should read Henry V, a little bit farther down, locate and post about the medieval article and Henry V article by Rabkin by 11:59 p.m. on September the 13th. So that's for this week on this Thursday. You need to locate this article down here, locate an essay in the journal Exemplaria from 2009 that focuses on Chaucer's Reeve's Tale, and you need to locate a classic essay on Henry V in Shakespeare Quarterly by Norman Rabkin. How do you get started? How do you find these materials so that you can read them and annotate and comment on them and be prepared to post things on the bulletin board? And again, you'll see the Rabkin thing that I'm talking about here over on your 5300 Henry V Anthology description. You've got down here on that list of clues. So for September the 13th, you need to read and locate and read a classic essay on Henry V in Shakespeare Quarterly by Norman Rabkin. So how do we get started? Let's go back to the library webpage here, and we're going to start with articles and databases. So we're going to click on this link, and we're going to find the MLA Bibliography. These are listed alphabetically, so click on M for MLA, scroll down to MLA. There's the MLA International Bibliography. You should skip for now. There's no real reason to use the Directory of Periodicals unless you're planning to send some of your scholarship somewhere for possible publication. Click on the MLA International Bibliography, which is run by EBSCO. You get this page. Now, I'm on campus right now, so when I click this, it's going to go directly there. If you're off campus and you click on this link, it's going to ask you for your UTEP credentials, your library sign-in information. So you need to have a valid library card if you're accessing this from off campus. But I mean, you have a valid library card by virtue of being a student, so this shouldn't be a problem. Anyway, click on this, and it'll take you to a database, and it's called the MLA Bibliography. Now, the MLA International Bibliography is a searchable database of scholarly work produced on the topics of modern languages. So not dead languages like Latin and Greek, but all research related to those languages. So it could be on, say, like how to teach German, or how to teach Spanish, or how to teach Italian. It could be literature, written in, say, Chinese, articles about literature written in Chinese. That's a modern language. Or for our purposes, the most important purposes, literature. Scholarship produced about literature produced in English. So English literature, American literature, or world literature produced in English. And with the MLA, that's our disciplinary organization. It's sort of like the American Medical Association for doctors or the American Bar Association for lawyers. The MLA is the disciplinary organization for people who work on the modern languages. And they produce, at a fair amount of expense, this very detailed bibliography. This is where you should start when you're doing research in our field. Please don't start with Google. Google produces, the thing about the MLA Bibliography is that it filters out all the noise, all the stuff that you don't need, and gets you to the things that are going to be most useful and most relevant to you. A general Google search will not do that, or often will not do that. So when you're doing research in our field, this is where you start, with the MLA International Bibliography. Okay, so in this case, we're going to be looking for an article by, we know the author. His name is Rabkin. Norman. So we're typing his name in first, and we're going to go over here and we're going to select author. Now, if you do this search, it's going to bring you up everything that Norman Rabkin has written, and there are 26 things. So we're already have narrowed it down quite a bit. There's just 26 records to look at. But we also know that it appeared in Shakespeare Quarterly. So I'm going to type in Shakespeare Quarterly right here. And that, we're going to scroll down here to SO for journal title. And I'm sure that this will bring us up just one, or possibly two. Yeah, two essays. He wrote on a different play of Shakespeare's called Coriolanus in Shakespeare Quarterly. But just to make sure that we get to just the one, I'm also going to type in Henry V. Now, I want to mention, and you should keep this in mind for future searches, that in its current iteration, EBSCO tries to be predictive about things. And so when I type in Henry V, I have a feeling it may provide a whole bunch of other things that we don't want. Henry Ford, Henry David Thoreau, Henry V Shakespeare. Let's just type Henry V, though, and see what comes up. So that should get us one article. This is the one article that I want you to locate and find and read for ahead of September the 13th. So here's the record for it. It's an article called Rabbits, Ducks, and Henry V by Norman Rabkin, Shakespeare Quarterly, 1977. On these pages, 279 to 296. There's a little bit more information about what the article is about and so on. Again, please let me urge you not at this point to go to Google and start looking for things. Among other things, if Google finds this article for you, it's going to probably try to charge you for a download of this article. But by virtue of being a student at UTEP, you have access to Shakespeare Quarterly, I think the entire run, certainly going back to 1977. So the next thing you might try to do would be to, over here on the left, these things are all linked up the way that our library has them set up. If you click on check for this item at the UTEP library, it will search for you to see if it can find it. And it lists this article as being in JSTOR. And so we click on that. It takes you to a different resource within the library called JSTOR. And here's our article. And so if you, at this point, your next step would be to, and this is free access for this article. Again, if you're working from outside the library, like through Google, there might be some attempt to charge you for this. Please don't pay for this article. It's free to you as a student here. So we're going to, sorry, we're on here. Yes, we're going to download the PDF. JSTOR always asks you to promise that you're going to follow certain terms and conditions, including that you're not violating intellectual property. So I accept, proceed to download. Here's the article as a PDF. And now I'm going to save it. And that's the basic tutorial on how to use the MLA Bibliography. You're going to be using the MLA Bibliography quite a bit, right? You need to search for another 10 articles, one for the 20th, one for the 27th, and so on, about Henry V. You're going to need to search for 11 articles for the literary history anthology that you're working on for our class. And then presumably you're going to be using the MLA Bibliography to do a lot of research in your other courses. So the MLA Bibliography is where all literature students really should start when they are getting ready to conduct research. Okay, so I hope that this has been helpful. It's probably been a refresher for some people, but at the very least, it's told you exactly what to do to find your the first article that you need for our course of English 5300.